Last episode, I nearly lost my mind designing 15 apartment interiors, which may or may not have kitchens. We don't need to talk about that. So this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different and focus on exteriors by plonking down another building, probably on this corner here. And yeah, we're probably going to do the interior straight away as well, because, well, we can't let them build up like this again. We do actually still have a few floors to do. We've got one floor in the middle there, and I think I know what I'm going to do there, thanks to you wonderful people in the comments. There's been some really good ideas coming through, and we've still got a few floors up here and a couple up there, but we don't need to talk about those either. Let's just fly away and pretend they don't exist. Maybe I'll get to them eventually. But before we get started, I do want to say a huge thanks to Flexispot for sponsoring this episode.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, I do this full time now. I've got to make a living, so there may be the occasional ad spot. Plus, it's also Mrs. B's YouTube debut, so you can't miss that. But like I said, more on that later. So, what are we going to do today? We're going to build a building here, and I think we're going to go to the movies. I really want to get a cinema down here. I've got a few ideas that have been bumping around in my head for a while, and I think this spot here is going to be absolutely perfect for it. But before we can do that, as usual, I need to go get myself a whole bunch of resources. Primarily smooth sandstone. So let's start this episode off with some funky music and a bit of a resource gathering montage. I know you all love a montage. Thankfully, that wasn't actually too painful. I had most of the things I needed. We just had to pick up a little bit of dark oak and lots of sandstone, which we have turned most of it smooth. Now I need to mark out where I want to put the building, I guess. So I think we want to have a pillar out the front here, and I want to have kind of like a corner entrance type area, so maybe we should leave a bunch of blocks open here. So maybe something like that. So we've got like a large covered area at the entrance here. We could even get a ticket booth in here, I guess. And then we'll just go some blocks this way, I guess. Let's just try and estimate a rough size. That should be deep enough to get some cinema screens in. Now we'll just get the rest of this blocked out into some form of square. That looks a good size for a cinema to me, and then that should leave plenty of space to get a couple of buildings over here on this side as well. So yep, I think we'll go with that. And we're going to want the cinema to look fairly fancy, so color palette wise we're going to be using quartz, of course. You know me, I love my quartz, and sandstone is going to be the sort of main thing, as well as some of these sandstone walls. I think they're going to work well. So I'm going to try and work out this ground floor now, I guess. And I've got a rough idea of what I think I might do on some of these lower walls, but for now, let's just get them all filled in and get something blocked out, so at least we can see what we're working with. The walls are up. Now let's see if we can make them look a little bit nicer. So my thinking is, if we get in some of these walls here, this should give a little bit of definition to the walls and things like that, and it should work quite well. But yeah, we're only going to do this a little bit on the bottom floor, and I'm hoping we can use this for the windows further up. Now, something we do need to do down here is put in some space for posters, because this is, of course, a movie theatre, so that means there's going to be posters advertising films down here. So let's just carve out some space for those for now. What kind of size are we working with? I probably should have counted better. Is this going to work? Use two, leave two, use two. Yeah, that should be fine. And then I think behind this wall, if we use some of this cyan terracotta, that should give us some good backgrounds for the posters. Yeah, I think that's going to look nicely. We'll put in some kind of lip across the top here as well, and that should center those a bit better. But these posters are also going to need lights. Do we want to light them from below? Is that going to look better? Or should we light them from above? Or should we light them from above and below and have smaller posters? Nah, we don't want that. I think they're going to look better lit from below, so let's put these in here. And I think we're just going to mirror that on this side. We love a bit of symmetry. I think it makes sense to have a couple of movie posters on the inside of the kind of entrance area as well, so let's just do that. And we should probably get this path in down here too. It's coming together nicely, and I think it's actually going to stand out well against these buildings here, because we've got a couple of dark buildings over here. In fact, that whole block, I think, is quite dark, so having a nice light building here should help offset that. But I need birch. I want to put in a trim across the top here, and I don't have any birch, so we're going to go run the tree farm for a bit, and then hopefully we can at least get the ground floor looking nice. Birch has been acquired. Let's see if we can get this floor finished. That's going to work a treat. Birch and sandstone. Love that combo. So now what I want to do is get in the kind of movie advert type thing, so we should probably bring that out a few blocks. And let's just get this marked out. We'll mix in a little bit of smooth quartz as well. We'll do it maybe 2 blocks high. I think that should work nicely. And for the background, I think we'll stick with what we've done on the sides of the building. Make sure it matches. And we'll stick a few lights in as well. Maybe just like this. In fact, I should probably get on the other side of that. All right, looking good. Although we do need a ceiling on this bit here. And I'm probably just going to use more quartz, I think. Maybe some slabs. And I think I should probably put some lights in up here as well. So if we maybe put some there. And I think what we can do is if we just create a little thing like this, we'll put some strip lights in and then put slabs over the top. That should look nice from underneath. Yeah, that's looking nice. We've got some lights in the ceiling and the roof's on. And I think that is the ground floor basically done. Apart from the posters, of course, but I've got a very cool idea for that, and we'll cover that later. But I think I want to focus on the next floor up now, so more sandstone, I guess. And what we'll do is we'll make a start with the wall on this side. And what are we going to do? I think I'm going to need double thick walls, at least for the window parts. Maybe something like that, and then we can jam walls in the corners, and we'll have those for the window frames. Let's see how many we can squeeze in. That's looking like a good size for the windows. We just need to get some glass in. And being a cinema, it's going to need darkened windows. We will, of course, block them from the inside anyway, but I think we're going to use black glass on the outside. Yep, the black glass is working a treat, and once we get the rest of the walls in, it will, of course, look a little bit darker as well, but I think I want to sort out the top of this, and then, of course, we need to do this on the other side as well. And the quickest way for us to do that, of course, is with a tiny time lapse. I believe we're onto something here. I think this is going to work nicely. I've managed to get all the walls in round the back. If we have a look through the windows now, we can see them poking through. And yeah, I think that's going to work well. That's a good height for each floor, I think. And we're going to have probably about 4 or 5 floors. I don't know. We'll see how many resources we've got, I guess. Back to the time lapse. Well, I think that's looking rather wonderful. Although we seem to have made a mistake there. Look at that, we need another wall. But apart from that one block out of place, I think that is about the right sort of height that we want. And if we have a look a bit further back from the corner here, I think that looks just fancy enough to be a cinema. And I've even got the shiny red floor in on the inside. But what I do need to do is work out the actual floors inside the building here and work out what we're going to do about this messy corner as well. I might even change the lights, who knows. But first up, let's see if we can work out where we want to put these stairs. That should work nicely for the stairs. The Wandering Trader seems to approve. And I have made this room a little bit smaller. I think I don't want the lobby to be absolutely massive, but this size should work nicely for us. Before we do any decoration down in the lobby, though, I want to get the floor in up here. So that's going to be a smooth quartz floor, and we just got to cover the whole area and then figure out what to do about that corner. The first floor is now in, and I'm just starting to mark out where I think the actual screen's going to go for this one. So I guess we're going to need to block this off around here as well. And this should give us a nice big square to put the first screen in. So I guess this will be the smaller screen. But then the stairs to the next floor are going to go up there, which is going to give us much more space for the, well, the remaining 3 screens, I guess. Are we going to have 4 here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think 4 screens seems about right. So I'm just going to get this floor blocked out and build up to the next floor. And to be honest, I might just crack on and get all of the floors in right away if I've got enough quartz, which I probably haven't, which means we may even end up having to do a whole bunch of villager trading too. But hopefully that means when I bring you back in, we'll have 4 cinema screens ready to be furnished and kitted out. And of course, we'll get the lobby sorted out too. And I think we're just about done. So we've got all the floors in, and I've actually done it so we've got this entrance here, as you saw on the first one, but I've kind of color-coded each floor mainly for me, so I know what floor I'm actually on as I go up. So we've got the purple floor, we've got the green floor, which is of course going to be screen 2, and then we have screen 3 up here and screen 4 over there, which is exactly the same as screen 2. So what we need to do now is sort out the lobby down here, and I think what I'm going to do is put the tickets and condiments on this back wall here. We'll probably have a couple of seating areas and maybe a couple more seating areas in the front. I don't really know. I'm just going to kind of start placing blocks and see how we get on. But I do know I want the tickets and confectionery stuff here, so let's get this in first. And I think I want to use these bee nests for cupboards at the back. Let me get rid of this one. We're going to use some of these bookshelves as well, because if we put books in these, they do look like shelves full of snacks and cans and things like that. We're going to need some light at the back here as well, so maybe end rods is going to be the way to go. I think we'll add some glass blocks on the side here just to act like cabinets of some kind. You can just imagine all the popcorn in there. Obviously, we can't actually add popcorn, but it's fine. It's fine. We can make do with what we've got. We'll get a few tills in as well. I think I'm going to use these nether brick stairs for that. A couple of drink machines at the back here. Maybe one on the side as well. A nice countertop, maybe. Is this going to work? Or is this going to look weird? No, I think that's coming along quite well, actually. And then I just need a load of books for all of these bits. Yeah, I think that works quite well. I like that, although we could do with a couple of posters at the back, but we'll sort that out later. I think I want to sort out some sofas and a seating area next, and for that, we're going to use these oxidized cut copper stairs. Put a nice round waiting area type couch in. Maybe we should come another block out. And we should be able to do that on this side as well. Although I'll tell you what, I don't really think I like this back wall here. So what I might do is kind of bump all this along a little bit. And maybe not have the back wall look like that at all. And I think I'm just going to do this wall in the cyan terracotta, actually, and just keep this going all the way round. We're going to need to fill in this ceiling gap as well. There we go, that's much better. And now my sofas match as well, because there's actually 8 blocks on each side. Definitely works better. And speaking of sofas, I think I want to put maybe a couple of sort of round type sofas in here, maybe. What sort of size do we want? In fact, I think I'm just going to move this one block over because there wasn't really a lot of space on this side, so maybe something like that. Yes, I think that placement looks a little bit better, and we'll reflect that on this side. Where is it? Is it in line with the gap there? So it should start here and go to there. Well, it's looking pretty fancy so far, but I reckon we can make this fancier. Maybe we can get some glass columns in or something. The floor around here is also looking a little bit bland, so I think what we're going to do is dig out around the seats and maybe get some red concrete down, just give it a little bit of a highlight. Yeah, I think that could look quite nice. Let's get this all the way around. Yeah, those red carpets are making all the difference. Although, I think we still need a bit of foliage and a bit of life in here. And I wonder if we can maybe use some of those big pots. You know, the ones, the new ones. And with the flower pots added in, I think we're pretty much there. Although, it's missing one thing. One very, very obvious thing. And that is, of course, some movie posters. We need to get some up in here. And we really need to get some out in these boards out here as well. But don't panic. I have a plan. And if you've been keeping up with the series, you will of course know that we do already have a few custom paintings in the world. And I am of course talking about these ones right here that we've used to celebrate milestones throughout the world, although I really could do with the 4,000 day one. And we're going to utilize the same pack we used for those to make some custom movie posters. So I've just spent a couple of hours in Photoshop doing exactly that. And now it's time for the big reveal and to hang them all up. And to be honest, I'm really pleased with them. And hopefully you're going to like them too. So I think the first thing we're going to do is maybe I'll just start here, start on this side, and we'll work this way. We'll put the better ones closer to the entrance, I think. So the way this works is we have this this mod called Immersive Paintings, and that basically just gives us a blank frame. And with that, we can essentially drop in any image. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to drop in this lovely Jaws poster. Look at that. It's got me swimming away. We've Minecrafted it up a little bit. And if I just click save, that should load in just fine. Look at that. Fantastic. And we've got a bunch of others too, so let's just get these up. So we have the Beard of the Dead, the Good, the Bad, and the Beardy. Beard Face, one of my personal favourites. Lord of the Beards, which I think is just fantastic. I love that one. Oh, but don't worry, we're not done yet. We've still got 2 more. So we've also got Beardy. I couldn't help myself, okay? It's too good. It's too good. And my all-time favourite, Killbeard. They're so cool. I love these posters. And now when we have a look at the outside of the cinema, look at that. How cool does that look? And I think I'm going to get a few of these up on the interior here as well. Where do we put these things? Maybe there. Is that going to be too low? Maybe we should put them further up like this. And there we go. Look at that. That adds so much more life to the room. It looks much more like a cinema lobby. and we've got these awesome posters up. And now there's just one thing left to do, and that is to get something up the top here. And I've done a little something for this as well. Yeah, that works really well. Just a couple of custom paintings, and I think that pulls the whole thing together. But now this is all finished, what I need to do is to sort out the actual cinema screens themselves, because these are just big empty rooms and you can't watch a film in that. I want to keep the actual screening rooms fairly simple, so I think what we'll do first is just get down a sort of stage area, and then we'll just frame it off to the side here as well. That looks like it's going to be a good size, and let's maybe get some speakers down the front here. And for that, we'll just use some note blocks. And because the cinema is, of course, going to be quite dark, I think we're probably wise to slab all of this, and maybe we should get some brown carpets on top of that as well. The last thing we want is a cinema full of creepers. The next thing I want to sort out is the seating, and we do, of course, need the seating to sort of rise up as it goes back, so maybe something like this. We'll just sort of step this down, and that brings us pretty much right to the front here, so that should work nicely. And when it comes to the seats themselves, I do have an idea. I just don't know if it's going to work, so let's try something along the back here first. So I'm just going to put my Fulbright on for now so we can see what we're actually doing. And what I'm thinking is, if we just put trapdoors along the back here, and then lift all those up, and then do that on every row, of course making sure we leave an aisle in the middle, I think this could work quite nicely. Let's get the rest in and see how it looks. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Although we need some more details, so let's get some speakers on the side here. Added a little bit of dim lighting as well, and that seems to work. And if we turn off the main cinema lights now, well, I'd say it's about the right light level for chilling out and watching a film. Oh no, adverts! Being someone that spends 12 to 14 hours a day at a desk making content, my health is always a concern. And I had always considered getting a standing desk, and then Flexispot came to me with an opportunity to try one. So here we are. I've had the E8 standing desk for about 2 weeks now, and I'll be honest, I absolutely love it. So I'm 6'3", and finding a desk that's a comfortable height and large enough for my setup, it's always been a bit of a problem. Until now. The E8 is also motorized, so I can change heights easily at the push of a button using this fancy panel. It also has 4 presets, so I can have a standing and seating positions, not just for me, but also for Mrs. B. And speaking of Mrs. B, if you have a wife like mine that can't help but push buttons, there's even a built-in child lock. And it's so easy to set up, even I could do it. It comes with all the tools and everything you need. And here comes the good bit. So to celebrate Flexispot's 7th anniversary, from August 28th to September 1st, you can save up to 50% using the link in the description. So thanks again to Flexispot. Now let's get back to the video. I always forget about the film pre-rolls. But what we do actually need to do is put something in here. Although I wonder, how big is this area? We might actually be able to use a painting, you know. Well, I found a screenshot of me on a boat, and this is actually the Jaws screening, I believe, in screen 1. So if we turn the lights off, that should also glow as well. Yeah, look at that. Well, I have to say so far, I'm loving my cinema. Time to build 3 more. I think the cinema's finished, and I absolutely love it. So I've finished off the interiors. As you can see, we've added a few people here and there as well. I've not used too many statues because, well, we do have a whole city to fill after all, but we've got a few scattered around, and they're looking pretty good. And I love how the corridors turned out as well. I think that is just absolutely grand. Look at that. And this carries on all the way up. There's not too many details further up. There wasn't really a lot of space for it, so there's just sort of lights and lecterns and so on. And when it comes to the screens, I've only actually populated one of the screens with people because, well, I want the people to be visible, okay? And we're not really going to be visiting these screens too much, so my theory was we'll pack them all into the bottom screen. So if we go in this one over here, look at this. There's absolutely loads of people enjoying the cinema, and in fact, they'll probably enjoy it more if the lights were off. Look at that, having a wonderful time watching me swim around in a boat. And from the outside, that's looking cool as well. We could probably do with a few details on the roof there, but I don't have the stuff with me for that right now, so I guess we'll tackle that and the other two that still don't have any on that block as well, and then get everything looking lovely. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you on the next one, where we won't be building a cinema. I have no idea what we're going to be doing.